I've been getting a lot of comments about don't use the word expat, use the word immigrant. Before I go into the explanation of what the difference is legally, I have to tell you that a large percentage of them, of the complaints, came from males. The term immigrant and expat are often used to describe individuals living outside their native countries, but they carry different connotations and are used in different contexts. Here is a detailed explanation of the lawful differences between the two terms. Immigrant. Definition. An immigrant is a person who moves to a foreign country with the intention of settling there permanently. Legal status. Immigration laws. Immigrants typically go through a legal process to obtain the right to live and work in the new country. The process includes obtaining visa, work permits, and eventually permanent residency and citizenship. Permanent residency. Immigrants often seek permanent residency, which allows them to live in the country indefinitely. In many countries, permanent residents have many of the same rights as citizens, except for the voting rights in certain government positions. Intention to stay. The key aspect of being an immigrant is the intention to stay permanently or for an extended period. This intention is reflected on their legal status and steps they take to migrate into the new society. Examples. Someone moving from Mexico to the United States to live and work permanently. That's a migrant. A person legally. A person relocating from India to Canada with the intention to become a permanent resident or citizen. Now an expat, an expatriate. Definition: an expat is short for expatriate, which is person who lives outside of their native country, typically work-related reasons, and often temporary basis. Legal work status. Work visas. Expats usually live abroad under temporary work visas or employment contracts. These visas are often tied to their employment and can be revoked if the employment ends. Temporary stay. Expats are generally seen as temporary residents. They might stay in the host country for a few months to several years, but they usually do not intend to stay permanently. Legal rights. As temporary residents, expats have limited legal rights compared to permanent residents or citizens. They may not have the right to vote, access certain social services, or enjoy the same level of legal protection as migrants or citizens. Example: a British citizen working in Singapore for a 2-year contract with an international company. An American working in Germany for a few years on a temporary assignment. Key differences: intention and duration. Migrant intends to settle permanently or long-term. Expat usually intends to stay temporarily and often plans to return home to their country. The legal process. Immigrant goes through the legal procedures to obtain permanent residence or citizenship. Expat typically obtains a temporary work visa and residence permit tied to their employment. Integration. Migrant likely to seek integration into the new society, including language acquisition, cultural adaptation, and possibly seeking citizenship. Expat often maintains a stronger connection to their home country, sometimes living in an expat community, not fully integrated into the host country society. And boy, have I seen that. Rights and benefits. Immigrant may have access to a broader range of rights and benefits, including the possibility of becoming a citizen. Expat, limiting rights and benefits often depend on their employment status, not as extensive as those available to migrants or citizens. Cultural connotations. In addition to legal distinctions, the terms also carry different cultural connotations. Immigrant is often used to describe individuals from developing countries, moving to developed countries. They're trying to raise up and rise up financially and get a better life for themselves. While expats is commonly used for individuals from developed countries abroad, often professional and managerial roles. This distinction can sometimes reflect implicit biases for social hierarchies. And I will finish this by saying, in my personal experiences, many expats bring wealth to the country that they're going to. Many immigrants come from poverty to rise up, as my great-grandparents did in the United States. And I'm so proud that they moved from Italy to the United States as immigrants. But if I was to move to a third world country, South America, Latin America, I would be an expat. I would be bringing my wealth to that country. And that is more of a cultural connotation. I hope you got a lot from this. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment underneath. Thank you so much. And remember, Colombia es una chimba, güey.